Okay, multiplying and dividing. So yesterday we did multiplying. Today you're going to divide. To divide by a fraction, multiply by its multiplicative, inverse, or reciprocal. That's the main word you didn't know. To divide by a mixed number, rename the mixed number as an improper fraction. So we were doing that yesterday. So we're going to keep doing that today. Turn your mixed into improper fractions. And then the main thing you need to know or remember is keep, change, flip.
Keep, change, flip.
Keep, change, flip. Okay, Casey. So look at this first example. 3.5 divided by 2/9. So I have to change 3.5 first. I have to turn it into an improper. How do we do that?
9 plus that'd be 10 thirds.
Good. I multiply and add. So 9, 10 thirds.
I'm 9 divided by 2.
So that's where that came from. That's where that 10 thirds came from. Okay. So now this is where the chicken comes in. So okay, keep 10 thirds. Change division to multiplication. And flip it. So we're flipping that second fraction upside down. That's called the reciprocal. Okay, so they keep, they change, they flip. And if you can see that these two can reduce down, so like 9 and 3 can both be divided by 3. That's where that comes from. That's where these numbers are coming from. If you can see that 10 and 2 can be divided by 2, then you can change those numbers. You're going to get the same answer if you just multiply across. Like 10 times 9, 90. 3 times 2 is 6. Whichever way you do it, if you reduce first or if you reduce later, you'll get the same answer. 90 divided by 6 will give you 15. Okay, so the first one, 2/3 divided by 1/4. So here's just asking, what if it's not mixed numbers? That's great. That makes it easier on us. Because then all we have to do is keep, change, flip. I don't have to change anything right now. I don't have to change any fractions. So I can keep 2/3, change that division to multiplication, and then flip that second fraction. And then, just like we did yesterday when we multiplied, just multiply across. 2 times 4 is 8. 3 times 1 is 3.
Goes in twice.
And then I can divide it.
Divide.
So that gives me 2 2/3 in its simplest form. Okay, number 2, 2/5 divided by 5/6. So same thing, keep, change, flip. So keep 2/5, change division to multiplication, boys, and flip 5/6.
I remember this. I never.
Yeah, y'all should remember this. This isn't brand new.
Done. Wait.
So then 12 over 25, and we can't reduce that down any further, so that's our final answer. Okay, number 3, -1/2 divided by 1/5. So now we've got integer rules. What do we do if we are dividing or multiplying and we have two different signs? What does that tell us about our answer?
It's going to be negative.
Okay, so already I know my answer is going to be negative, so I'm going to get that part out of the way. Now I can go and I can do the chicken, keep, change, flip. So keep -1/2, change division to multiplication, and flip that final fraction.
-2.5.
And a half. It's 2.5.
-5 over 2, but we need to turn it into a mixed number.
So it'd be -2.5.
2.5.
So -2.5.
Yeah, 2, 5.
Number 4, if I have a whole number, hold on. If I have a whole number, how do I turn that into a fraction? Tyler, what do I do?
I was thinking. Oh, you put a 1 under it.
I put a 1 underneath it. So that's the same, but I just had to turn it into a fraction so I can continue to do this math. So now 5 over 1, keep, change division to multiplication, and then flip that -2 over 1. So same thing as the last problem. I've got a positive and a negative. So my answer should be a negative
Fraction.
5 times 2? 10. So -10.
So it's 5.
Okay, on number 5, the only fraction I have to change is that whole number 10. What do I do?
Put a 1 under it.
Put a 1 under it. Change your fractions before you start keep changing and flipping. You don't want to flip and you flipped it backwards. So 5/8 times 1/10. Keep, change, flip. If you can see that, then you can reduce that. 1 and 2.
Wait, I get it. 13 times 5, 80. No.
Or if you didn't reduce it, 5/80. But that would reduce down to be 1/16.
You should just make the...
On number 6, I have to change both of these fractions. So number 6, how do I get to change 7 1/3?
That'd be 21 plus that'd be 22/3.
Good, I have to change it to improper. And then what about 2?
Put a 1 under it.
1 underneath it.
And then that would be 1/2.
So now I can keep, change, flip. So keep 22/3, change that division to multiplication, and flip the fraction I just had.
So let me like.
Yeah, you can divide these diagonal ones by 2. So you're dealing with a little bit smaller numbers. So we can change that to 11 if we divide by 2. Change that to 1.
Would it be 3 2/3? That'll be 11.
And then, yes, 3 2/3 once we divide it and turn it back into a mixed number. 3 2/3. Number 7, I've got 5/6 divided by 3 1/2. But I've got to turn this into an improper fraction. So I'm going to keep 5/6, change division to multiplication, and this should be 7/2 now, so I'm going to flip it.
Is it 6 times 7?
I got 5/21. 21st.
I don't know.
5/21.
So if you multiply across, we can do it that way, and then you can divide.
I divide by 2.
If you divided by 2 early, then that's good. So 5/21. Okay? Whether you did it first or if you're doing it in the problem, you can divide both of these by 2 and then you'll get that same answer. So whether you reduce early or reduce once you get your answer.
Okay.
Number 8, 36 and 1 1/2. We got to change them both. So 36, put a 1 underneath it. 1 1/2. 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3. So that gives me 3/2. Then number 8, we're going to go ahead and keep, change, flip. You can multiply across, or if you can see that 3
I got 100.
and 36 can be divided.
I got 108/2.
So 24 should be your answer. You should get the same answer either way. Last one, number 9.
Then you put a 1 under 10.
Good.
And then times it, but you have to change it. So then it would be -110. Then you go from there.
Good.
The answer is 1/4. Good for you.
Good. We can multiply across. That would give us, 5/20ths. But these can both be reduced by 5. I can divide them both by 5.
So would it be -1/4?
Would it be negative or positive? In the problem, we had 2 negatives.
So
If they're the same sign and you're multiplying and dividing,
1/4.
it would be -1/4.
they're the same sign.
Positive.
Positive answer.
So it's 1/4.
1/4. Good.